I wanted to take a moment to talk about victims. Anna and myself have been helping victims and potential victims of romance scams for many years. Anne since 2013 and myself since 2014. Over the years, our inbox has seen victims from all walks of life: educated men and women who run successful businesses, politicians, stay at home moms and dads, high school kids, to retired seniors living on a pension, to hotel workers, fast food workers, police officers, and even a judge came to us once for help after they had been romance scammed. This means the range of victims and who they are in their status in life is very broad. We've helped victims who are wealthy and they sent millions of dollars. We've had victims who sold their 20-year-old car for $2,000 in order to send money to a scammer. Scammers don't care who you are, and they don't care about how you get the money, and they certainly don't care about you. A scammer will tell you to sell your grandmother's ring, they'll tell you to sell your plasma at a medical center, or sell your kids' toys as long as you get them the cash. They don't care if you're poor. They'll find a use for you for your personal gain. With that being said, so many of you have asked, how can we stop this? Honestly, well, yes, some scammers are arrested. It's not a simple process. And if 200 scammers are arrested, 20,000 more are lined up, logged in, and ready to make you a victim and take those arrested scammers' places on the internet. The most frustrating part of this whole situation is that we, and many other anti scam pages and groups, have shown victims how to stay safe. A large majority of the victims we meet have been victimized more than once. We've educated them on how to avoid scammers, given people the tools to research the person they've met online, and yet over and over again they continue to openly give cash and gift cards, their personal identification, phone numbers, bank info, passwords, social media passwords, and more to strangers they've just met online. They then come to us and ask, "Is this person real? I just gave them $5,000 and the password to my bank." In the near decade I've been involved in the anti scam education world. To this day, it blows my mind of how many people do exactly this. Look, some scammers are very good at what they do. They make elaborate websites, they have legit looking phone numbers, they use SIM cards to give themselves numbers that don't come up as a Google Voice or a free VoIP number. They set up real mules to help them filter the cash. They set up real business bank accounts with USA banks and more. And yes, some scammers have nearly fooled us with legit looking social media profiles and business websites. However, at the end of the day, all they ask is for the same thing: money, gift cards, your personal information, and passwords. However, a large majority of scammers tell the same stories with the same fake profiles. "I'm a widow. My wife cheated with my best friend. I have a kid away at boarding school or with a nanny. I'm working on a contract overseas. I'm a military doctor with the United Nations, surgery doctor in Syria. I work on an oil rig," and so on. They then ask for money and gift cards. Or, "I'm sending a code to your phone. Give me the code." These codes are used to verify a fake profile on social media with your phone number. "My bank account's been frozen. I've been robbed. I've lost credit cards. A machine part broke and I need your help." It's all the same. Please take the time to listen to what they tell you. Scammers don't stray far from their storylines. And while yes, some try to mix it up by saying their wife ran away or maybe they work somewhere else and not a typical engineer profile that's fake, the objective is always the same: a crisis followed by the begging of money. Well, the first time you were scammed, you didn't know that that handsome doctor working in Syria was not who he said he was, and you sent him $10,000 to fly home to meet you. And the second time you were scammed, a military man claimed you as his wife 4 days after you chatted online and wanted you to pay for his imaginary leave, so you sent another $500 in iTunes cards to somebody else you met online. Then there was the third time, when that United Nations doctor you met on a dating site needed you to take his son while he's away working, and you sent another 4,000 to pay for his flight. At some point, you have to stop and look at the red flags. Now, I'm not saying all victims do this, and a majority of our victims that we talk to who've been victimized once learned a hard lesson and never did it again and became educated about scams. But I can tell you a good 40% of the victims who come to us for help have been scammed many times by many scammers, and they all weave the same stories. The only way the scamming is going to stop is when people stop opening their bank accounts, purses, and money to strangers they've met online that they've never met in person. Scammers will always be there. They've been around for a long time before the internet, and they'll be there long after social media sites have come and gone. However, the tools you need to educate yourself have been there, will be there for years after you've met your scammer online. Well, this might upset a few people, and quite frankly, it's frustrating when the same people come to us 5, 6, and 7 times in a year and are scammed over and over again when you have spent time educating them on how not to get scammed and what to look out for. Well, we're always here for you. Please be good to yourself and stop and think before opening your savings and throwing money at every single handsome, muscle bound military man, doctor, engineer, white haired, blue eyed model man you get in contact with on social media. Well, they start to spew their story. Widow, one kid, you're so beautiful. I must get to know you better. Please add me up, give me your phone number, and so on. Stop and think about everything they are saying to you. Don't be afraid to block a person. You're not missing out on the love of your life. When you block people like that, you're avoiding being scammed, period. And again, this isn't all victims. We've had some victims that have never encountered romance scammers before and who genuinely were scammed and didn't know it. But this goes out to people that have been scammed 5, 6, 7, and 8 times by scammers all weaving the same story. Please stop and think. Please take the time to look at the red flags. And above all, whether you're a victim for the first time or a victim for the fifth time, stop giving money to people you don't know on the internet. You wouldn't give money to a stranger on the street who walked up to you and asked you for $20,000. Stop doing it to people you meet online. We're here for you, but we want you to help yourself as well. Stay safe and Happy New Year.